Whitehair Reen could definitely take out one of those tanks. Maybe a couple of them. It's funny how the military still uses flying airships and tanks when Lammy exists. That's fair. More Lammies equals good time. Thus, the military exercise came to an end. The 4th Armored Division, led by Lieutenant General Craig, withdrew to an encampment near the fortress. Meanwhile, we returned to the fortress where Major Neidhart outlined the results of the training exercise. After that, a train. Oh, are we gonna eat the disgusting food again? No, this is curry. This is rice and curry. Dude, I want rice and curry. Sorry you had to wait for us to finish. Don't worry about it. We're the guests here after all. Thanks for your consideration. At the very least, I'd say dinner's a million times better than lunch was. I mean, it's hashed beef day. That does not... whatever. I don't actually know what hashed beef looks like, so maybe that is what hashed beef looks like. That's an Imperial Army tradition, isn't it? Ooh, just the smell's making me hungry. Oh yeah, where'd your instructor go? She's a real looker. I was hoping to get a chance to talk to her. What a thing to bring up in casual conversation. She went to see the fortress commander with Instructor Neidhart. She did ask us to eat without her tonight. Ah, right. Well, if she's with Major Neidhart, yeah, you guys aren't cool enough, sorry. It's hard to compete with those guys from the 4th Armored Division. I can't even see your eyes to gauge how attractive you are or not, but, I mean, Neidhart. It's been enough if they just had Craig the Red, but they've got the Major too. He's kind of scary. Like a division of muscle men. Anyway, we shouldn't keep you tied up any longer. Your hashed beef's gonna go cold. See you tomorrow, guys. That really looks like curry to me. I guess I can see pieces of roast beef there, though. Wow, it's actually delicious. It's like night and day compared to what we had for lunch. You're telling me. Ugh. Aw, come on, guys. What's with all the gloomy faces? You think you guys might have had a bit too rosy of an outlook? What were you expecting to see out there? I'm sure you can understand at least a little of how we feel. It's like, has everything we've learned in our time at the Academy been for nothing? Academics, the arts, individual skills in combat, none of those matter in the slightest in real warfare, do they? It's true. If all you're looking to do is fight a war, you don't need any of those. All you need is plenty of troops at your command, the latest weaponry, and overwhelming firepower. Assuming you know the tactics to use them well, and a strategy that employs them effectively, I suppose. The Octanes are even more powerful than I was expecting them to be, too. I remember my mother boasting about their capabilities when she was trying to sell them to the army 2 years ago, but to be honest, I'm feeling somewhat disheartened as well. I can't see there being a place for swords on the battlefield with weapons like those on the front lines. Well, I don't think that means individual combat skills don't matter at all. Still, I think maybe we've been misunderstanding something important all this time. What we saw in that military exercise today was power in its purest form. It has no morality of its own. It exists to bring about a result, regardless of the ideals or principles of those who wield it. That's true. In a sense, the same can be said of a gun or a sword. I don't know why I said those backwards. And all the way on up to something as huge as Garelia's railway guns, too. I think I finally understand why they wanted us to watch that military exercise in the first place. They could have taught us in a less roundabout fashion. Well, looks like you didn't wait for me to start the party. Instructor Sarah? So you spoke with the commander? Sure did. I've got up-to-date info on the trade conference, too, as well as all the latest on the terrorists. So there's new information about the Imperial Liberation Front? Anyway, before I get to that, let me explain what you'll be doing tomorrow. In the morning, you're scheduled to participate in the Imperial Army's physical fitness training. In the afternoon, you'll be attending a special lecture where I'll bring you up to speed on that info I just mentioned. After that, you've been granted special permission to view the railway guns. I see. Looking forward to that. Sounds like we've got a pretty packed schedule. Well, we did bring you all the way out here, so we might as well make the most of it. Every nation possesses power in the form of military, whether that military is large or small. Garelia Fortress just happens to have that power in a very striking, easy to understand form. 2 giant guns. As students of a military academy, you have an obligation to know the scale of the power. The Empire of Erebonia wields at present a power you might one day be in charge of yourselves. What? Anyway, even a meeting that long couldn't keep me away from trying the famous hashed beef rice. I've heard it's the only decent food they have around here, so I've been looking forward to this all day. We should probably finish eating. Yeah, though it's gotten a bit cold now. Maybe I'll go and ask for seconds. Oh, Eustace, if you don't want the rest of yours, can I have it? I'd sooner throw it away than give it to you. That's so mean. I love that Millian keeps just coming at Eustace, though. Okay, that should do it. All right, that covers today's quota. Phew, I'm looking forward to a nice, long bath. Well, you know how every time there's a military exercise coming up, the workload gets pretty crazy like this. Still, at least managing inventory has gotten a lot easier thanks to the Orbal Net. They've got everything hooked up on the network over in Crossbell, right? Wish the Empire would get on that a bit more. Think of the utility. Well, from the sound of it, you need special equipment to send signals through a wired connection to make use of it. And considering the size of the Empire, it's probably going to be quite a while before it's a widespread thing here. Huh? An orb mail? Looks like it's from HQ. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. This right here is the problem with the Orbal Net. There's no such thing as off hours when they can just send you orders round the clock. What's going on? So get this, they're planning on doing some extra exercise tomorrow. That means we've got to outfit 20 Octanes with C units by tomorrow. 20. Seriously? Might as well start up another pot of coffee. We're in for an all-nighter for sure. Do we even have that many C units left? Actually, another lot came by freight just this evening. Exactly 20, if you can believe it. Guess we'll just have to get it done. Crap. At least let us take a shower. I'm gonna head down to the mess hall and grab some snacks. You want anything? Good luck to these people. They didn't install Norton. They'd probably get hacked by Campanella or whoever else anyway. Jonah. Man, when are we gonna get to see Jonah again? I miss Jonah and all of his pizza boxes. Good times, good times. August 31st, a Tuesday. Guerrilla Fortress, Crossbell stateside. Oh, there was Orcus Tower in the background there for a second. The texture they put on the, like, cliff face is really jarring to look at to me. At last, after what seemed like enough adventure to fill a week, we reached the final day of our field study. Over in Crossbell State, they were busy preparing for today's keynote session at the trade conference. We spent the morning running through the Imperial Army's physical fitness program alongside some of the soldiers. And after completing it, no easy task I might add, we sat down to a lukewarm redux of yesterday's lunch. That afternoon. Ew, they had to eat that crap food again. Rip. During our special military science lecture, we were presented with a confidential report on the terrorists. The Imperial Liberation Front is in Crossbell? I wonder why. That's right. Or at least that's what the Intelligence Division believes. It looks like a known terrorist organization from the Calvard Republic has turned up in Crossbell too. The situation over there is pretty touch and go right now. Oh no. What are the authorities doing? Nothing. They want chaos because your country kind of sucks. Everything they can, naturally. However, operations are being handled solely by the Intelligence Division. They refuse to tell the Imperial Army anything, just that they have a trusted ally taking care of things. But who does the Intelligence Division trust? Are they talking about the Red Constellation here? The trusted ally? That murderous Jaeger Corps? Yeah, those guys. We trust them. Lecter the Goofball? I love him. You've got to know something about this, right, Short Stack? Well, I do, but I can't really tell you anything. I guess it's not a breach of confidentiality to tell you they're a really strong bunch, though. That's still pretty vague. I've got a few ideas. Yep. Fee, you would be correct. You of all people would know. Anyway, there's not much point in us worrying about that right now. The bigger issue is that our terrorists of the hour, the Imperial Liberation Front, are a bigger crew than we thought. Big enough to be in possession of a state-of-the-art military airship, at least. You already knew that. You saw the airship back in Gaius's hometown. This isn't new news. Seriously? An airship? Can we assume Brynford's the manufacturer then? Correct. Just how something that large found its way into the hands of insurgents is currently unknown. but it seems to be a high-speed model different from the heavily armored types favored by the Imperial Army. I bet it's from the RF-26 series. There are a number of different models within that series, though. But if they have an airship, that means they're going to be a whole lot more difficult to catch, doesn't it? That's exactly what it means. Just because Fi accessorizes with explosives doesn't mean anything. Or the fact that she used to be a Jaeger who went up against the Red Constellation. Totally inconsequential. Doesn't matter in the slightest. It's basically impossible to keep tabs on them as it is. You know what? This series should give us a game where we play as a Jaeger. I want that. Morally ambivalent Jaeger. With an airship in their possession, there's no telling when or where they'll pop up next. That's quite worrying, especially since Prince Olivert is attending the conference. And Helma's in Crossbell right now, too. Yeah. Dang. Now you've got me worrying. Aw, take it easy. I don't think you have anything to worry about with Gramps and Lecter over there. Well, that aside, if the terrorists' attention is currently focused on Crossbell, does that mean the Empire is effectively safe right now? You raise a good point, Lara. They did target Princess Alphen during the summer festival last month. It's possible it's just a feint. Maybe they just want us to believe they're targeting the Chancellor. The Railway Military Police thought so too, which is why they've increased the security level here at home. The Emperor and everyone else connected to the Imperial family should be safe. They've also beefed up security anywhere that seemed short-handed. Olivert was just playing we'll just play Amber Amor on his lute. You would never want to attack him. He's just doing his best. His questionable best. But he's trying. Has he been kicked off a roof by a little girl yet? Surely that's happened already. As well prepared as ever, I see. Yeah, if they're already in the conference, he's definitely been kicked off the roof by the small child. That was the best. At any rate, you finally uncovered some information on the terrorist identities, correct? That's right. Though once again, we have the Intelligence Division to thank for that. If you turn your attention to the screen, please. That dude. I know that face. G. Or he kept calling himself Gideon and then being like, but you could call me G. That's the man who kidnapped Princess Alphen and Elise in Heimdall. Not to mention he tried to start a war with Calvard in the Nord Highlands. So who is he? A crazy person. His full name is Michael Gideon. They went hard with biblical names. He used to be an assistant professor at the Imperial Academy in Heimdall. That man? A teacher? So an academic. Right, his focus was political philosophy. 3 years ago, he was dismissed from his position due to his intense criticism of Chancellor Osborne's hardline policies. Oh. So getting laid off set him on the road to terrorism? Well, it sounds like the actual reason he was let go was because he was handing out tracts and flyers in public. You'll find these kinds of idealists at the heart of most terrorist groups, though. In seeding a group with their core ideology, they twist it to be even more militant and radical. You can't even reason with them, either. Yeah, they just don't know when to give up. Sounds like some other groups I know. So, do we know anything about the others? We crossed paths with what I can only assume were 3 other key members last month in Heimdall. Yes, S, V, and C. It seems like they haven't been able to dig up much on those 3 yet. Their strongest lead right now is that V may have belonged to a Jaeger Corps. Interesting. He was toting around this machine gun that looked like it should have been mounted on a vehicle. Did he seem all that familiar to you, Fee? Not really. They're working on narrowing down the identity of S2, but it's too early to make any informed statements. The real unknown is their leader, C, the Power Ranger. Ah, the one in the visored helmets. I heard he was able to go toe-to-toe with Irene, Lara, and Fee simultaneously. Yeah, he crushed us. I almost find that hard to believe. I don't. I imagine there are plenty of people in the Empire who could do so. It goes without saying that the Radiant Blade Master could fend 3 of us off without much of a problem. But I'd bet good Mira, Instructor Sarah, and Major Neidhart could do it too. Can't say for certain. Look at Mr. Modesty over here. The Major here is widely held to be one of the strongest up-and-coming officers in the entire army. I've heard people mention him right alongside Major Vander. How has none of this, hour worth of text been voice acted? None of it. Huh. Laying it on a little thick today, aren't we? Going by the family name, it seems safe to assume he's a practitioner of the Vander style of swordsmanship. No doubt a relative of Lieutenant General Vander from Zender Gates. While I would question whether I can stand on equal footing with him, Major Vander is unquestionably strong. He was my classmate during my military academy years, and quite close to Prince Olivert as well. In fact, he's in Crossbell right now, serving as the prince's bodyguard. Love him. Whoa. Well, that's reassuring to know. Too expensive? But getting back to the point, it's not just C. We still know very little about their group as a whole. Even their source of funding is a mystery. So even if they're a no-show in Crossbell, I doubt we've heard the last of them. I call it a coincidence or fate, but you've put the kibosh on their schemes twice now. It's entirely possible they've come to hold a personal grudge against you, so be careful. Right. Yeah, we'll be sure to keep that in mind. Eventually, the afternoon series of special lectures came to an end, and it was finally time to get a peek at Garrelia Fortress's infamous railway guns. We were only in the lectures for an hour and a half? Dang. How many lectures did we sit through? It's just so short an amount of time. You'll now be shown to the area where the railway guns are housed. All of what you're about to see is highly classified. I presume you're aware of the protocol surrounding confidential intel. Yes, take pictures of everything, post them on the Orbital Net. Understood. Yes, instructor. I'm getting kind of nervous. Me too. Guys, it's just the railway guns. I've seen them before. They're nothing to get all excited over. They're only weapons of mass destruction. Totally normal. Orion, this part of the field study isn't mandatory for you. If you'd like to stay here and wait for us, that'd be more than okay. Jeez, I'm just kidding. I don't want to be the only one left behind. Honestly. Excuse me a moment. This is Neidhart speaking. Yes, hello, Commander Walter. Wait, Mueller wants to speak to me? Of course, put him through. What could you possibly be calling about at a time like this? What? What's happening? Huh. Is he taking a call from someone outside the fortress on his Arcus? Sure looks that way. Understood. We'll be on alert here as well. Yes, right. Take care out there. Did something happen in Crossbell? I'm afraid so. A short while ago, the skyscraper where the conference is taking place came under attack by the Imperial Liberation Fronts. The attack was carried out via airship. Fortunately, they were able to repel the terrorists, and Prince Olivert, Chancellor Osborne, and the others are unharmed. However, it's too early to tell if the danger has truly passed. Ugh, they really did attack the conference. How foolish. But that's not all, is it? Something else strange happened. What was it? The terrorists were somehow able to gain access to the orbital net and manipulate the shutters that partitioned the building. Furthermore, they had with them a force of mechanical monsters. I don't like the sound of that. You found something like that in Legram, right? Yeah, we ran into one on the highway there. And they broke into the orbital nets. Major, how much of Corellia Fortress is connected to the network? At present, it's only used for inventory and equipment management by the maintenance staff. What was that? A tremor? It came from right below us. Below? The hangar.